could offer you are the scans, but SpyCell Imaging provides an authentic MRI scan. Here's another little known fact. SpyCell Imaging has 3 centers. We operate at Grenville, the Carnage, and at the Ocean House, Grand Anse. We provide the widest range of laboratory tests and services. CT scans, x-rays, mammograms, ultrasounds, and a host of other services. We are fully staffed by a team of family doctors and specialists. Call us today at 444-7679 or 406-1500 or visit any of our 3 locations. SpyCell Imaging, from seeing the doctor to getting lab tests, scans, and pharmacy services. We are here to take care of you.
Join GBN on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. for Interesting Grenadians, a program that showcases the lives of interesting and outstanding Grenadians at home and abroad. It's Interesting Grenadians every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. on GBN. Don't you miss it.
Chapter in West Indies' biggest rivalry continues. West Indies vies against England for the Apex Test Series in 3 test matches. Tickets start as low as $20 and local residents enjoy an additional 50% discount with online purchase. Must be fully vaccinated to attend all matches and COVID-19 protocols will be in effect. Secure your seats to the action. Get your tickets in advance at windiescricket.com/tickets. Terms and conditions apply.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to We Culture. Yes, indeed. I almost said something else, but we're on track, folks. It's Friday evening, and so it's We Culture time. And this evening, though, we are without the Queen. Yeah, she's unable to make it this evening, but of course, I know she will find the time to at least tune in. The guys are here. Doc, Scholar, they're here, and so we are going to have a good time as always. So let's bring them in. Doc, what happened?
Well, we good, Ade. What can I say? We're here again to go along our next memory lane. Hopefully, although this evening promises to be a little bit different, but as usual, we're going to play the role that we are expected to play and help and let the public help us to galvanize everything that we're supposed to be doing this afternoon.
All right, yes. Finley, what happened?
Monday, they with them.
You hear?
Jamming.
You hear something grow back, what? What happened there?
What I mean by that?
The boy your hair doesn't grow. You.
Well, long I'm here. I do not Livingston, you know.
Yeah.
Livingston. You remember in Livingston in school, in Livingston had big rasta. He say that here.
What big rasta? You ever know Livingston here to grow? Listen, when Livingston get fed up and he realize that he can't grow, he just shave with everything, right? That
can't grow battle.
That you can't grow. That not like mine, you know. I good scraps, you know. I just grow every time. I do trim. Yeah, I good scraps. I do trim every weekend.
Scraps.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta give me the nice.
But
I see Scala looking like Cuba today, boy. Well, I mean, maybe because it's March 13th, I don't know.
That Cuba flag, well, I don't know. I draw a jersey on me and well, look at that. So I'm symbolic. Symbolic because in a few days' time is March 13th. You know, March 13th is symbolic of a number of things, not just the revolution, but the last election was also March 13th. Do you remember?
Right.
What do you mean? Host.
March is a very historical month, for matter of fact, the whole month of March.
Yes.
March, yeah, is very historical.
But wasn't there something about, is there something with Fedor and March as well? If I'm not mistaken?
Yes.
I think that one was March the 3rd, and then you also had, I think, on the 11th of March, the formation of the Jewel movement. With people like Teddy Victor and Samba Sanem from St. David's.
Right. Yeah. March is significant.
March is very, very historical.
Yes, indeed. So,
Doc, well, I don't know if you have flowers tonight. Last week I invited you to choose some flowers.
Read no community flowers, Jai.
The tree didn't mature yet, man, but no, it is mature, you know.
No, you did it.
Yeah, you have flowers now. You have flowers. So let me just start, and I try to spread it out all the time. This one is for Mr. Dwight Logan, a teacher at the Petit Martinique RC school. This guy wrote and published the cultural history of Petit Martinique, a fishing island community. Mr. Dwight Logan is a member of the Petit Martinique folk group. He's also a big drum dancer. He's a leading member of the Petit Martinique serenading band. He's also a talented storyteller, so a man with multi-talent. That is multi-talented. He served over the years as a judge with the Carrick-1 Petit Martinique Carnival Committee. He served as a director of the Carrick-1 Petit Martinique Festivals Board, chairman of the Petit Martinique Regatta Committee, president of the Petit Martinique Development Committee. Mr. Logan he is there at the wake, he's MC, he does everything, almost involved himself in almost all aspects of the life of people of, Island Committee of Petit Martinique. So just want to send out some flowers to Mr. Dwight Logan and tell him we salute him on We Culture for the work that he has been doing, and hopefully he will be able to keep up that mantra. Keep up the faith, my brother. You have been doing well. So flowers to you.
All right. Scholar, you have flowers to give though?
I don't have flowers to give. I just have to ask Doc a question.
So Oli?
Yeah, I'll ask you a question.
But hold on, before you ask that question, let me just say welcome to all our viewers on GBN Television, and of course our Facebook friends, they're in already on the YouTube channel, also on the WhatsApp platform. We welcome every one of you, and we'll be engaging you very, very soon tonight. So stay there, stay with us. We're gonna have a good time. Yeah, ask Doc your question.
Yeah, well, Doc, before I even ask you a question, I know Logan very well. So I want to join with you and congratulate him for all the work that he's doing. But the question I have for you, what is the opposite of Logan?
Of Logan?
Yeah.
I don't even know if there was an opposite of Logan.
Yeah, that easy.
Logan. Igon?
I come.
You hear me? I come. If Logan, I had to come. I must come.
That one, you catch me that one.
But anyway, guys, we decided we want to talk about sports tonight, but before we do, or if we, have the chance, I think it's important that because of the role we play and the following that we have, I don't think we would be forgiven if we did not at least touch on what is very topical nowadays, the issue of all these fights that we are seeing among our school children. So, some of these topics we've been talking about over the past couple of weeks is taking us straight to King Scholar, the teacher.
Yeah.
So we've seen a lot of fights happening. Not that it is surprising to me, but it's happening. And when you see that kind of behavior, it's always of concern, because we know what can happen as a result of that kind of behaviors.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. And the truth is that during the COVID time, children were at home. And sometime, I think, maybe late last year probably, the psychologists and the CMO and so on would have come out and said that the children are being socially disadvantaged. And so even though we had a spike in COVID around that time, they said that all schools should open with its full complement because of the social effect that it is having on children. And so, well, they had to recant really, and children couldn't go back. But I remember that there was that hue and cry that children need to go back because of the whole social issue and so on. And lo and behold, we're seeing children now coming back. And this thing has raised its head, I guess, again, because it's not something, according to you, that is foreign or strange. The truth is that what we have seen, however, and what we saw, it sort of raised eyebrow, because, I mean, I was young, you were young, and even though we've done big old man, I would never square up a police. I mean,
you can't square up a police.
I mean, that's unheard of. Even a big man, if a police talk to me, and sometimes police just talk and you don't agree with them, you might say a little something, but I mean, to go and square up a police too, I mean, this is unheard of. You have to wonder about it. But it kind of brought my mind back, because I don't know if you guys could remember. Remember, there was a point in time, and I think I sang about it too, when they tried to rearrange Grenada. And so they took the Queen's Park and they put Queen's Park in Tantin. You remember that when Queen's Park was in Tantin?
Yeah.
All the galvanized.
And that when they was building a mountain in Queen's Park?
Right. But so, because they were working on the stadium during that time, and we had intercall in the stadium. And the truth, not in the stadium, in Tantin. And the truth is that Tantin couldn't hold intercall. Tantin was just too small for the amount of children he had there. And because of the jostling and so on, and children, place was tight. I don't know if you remember. There was a young lady from one of the schools in St. George's, he fight with the police. I remember that very good. Right? So it's not the first time we've seen a student fighting with police. A young girl fight with a police. But it was sort of, probably excused, because the place was really, really jam-packed and so on. But in an open little town, and what you're seeing is that the police trying to move children on, so that they wouldn't like that, and then a man just spray up police. So by it, and then we saw a number of other incidences that, sort of raised eyebrow. Now one of the things, and I guess this program would have to put this into perspective, and people would call and say this, because I've been looking at the back and forth as to who wrong, and should the police this and should the police that, and who's saying the child, and the police should have treated the child differently, and so on and so forth. But one of the things that we find even in social media and in the news, right? Now it was fair game because that child had on a school uniform. Although it was end of school. And sometimes people behave, and the news media behaves, as if school doesn't make children. School doesn't make children. And school don't teach children to go out when school is finished and go and fight. School don't teach them children that. And even sometimes I realize, children without even uniform, children take knock with ordinary clothes, even when you don't have school, and the news will report that the child that was a student from a school in St. Andrews or a school in St. George's and so on. That is people children. And this is people children. And this is where the thing starts, from the home and the parenting and so on. But often enough, when children behave bad after school and so on, because we're hearing of all of the incidences that are happening, even in the town of Grenville, after school and so on, and they tell you that is children from this school and children from that school. That is Mary's son, and Miss Janet girl. Because after school, the school has no jurisdiction on them when they go down in Grenville. You see? And so if we say the thing as it is, so that who has to take the responsibility takes it. But we dump all the responsibility all the time on the school and say that is this school and that school children. School don't make it children. If the children do things during school hours in the school, or if the school takes them out, fine. But after the school lets them off and they go to Grenville or they go to St. George's and they do stuff, it is not very fair, in my mind, to then put the responsibility on the school. So I'll start with that and then let Doc start to explain it.
Yeah. Doc, go. When Doc finish, I go add me hypney.
Well, as I missed that program, the one when we were talking about teenage pregnancy, and I really like the line that Scholar took because that is what I was going. But maybe let me backtrack. Violence has been part of our society. For matter of fact, our very creation was built on violence. I'm talking about our Caribbean society now. Has gone through some very, very serious violent era. Be it as it may, there was a cooling off period. There has been some cooling off period, and people learn to behave in a particular way. And traditionally, based on our culture, the older persons, there was actually a fear that was the children world and that was the adult world. Children were supposed to have respect for elders, and elders were supposed to behave in a particular way in the presence of children. So it was unheard of that when it was not acceptable that children would want to fight or square up your elders. That doesn't mean it did not happen, but it was not acceptable. It was not acceptable for children to square up other persons in authority. Yes, you stone your teacher, things happened before, but it was not acceptable. Today we find the line becomes blurred a little bit between the world of the child and the world of the adult. As it may, I also want to say that program I missed, and it had to do with early pregnancy, not just in school, but early teenage pregnancy. And I really regretted meeting that because that's a major point to make. You see, a lot of young parents, right? And I would say feature more mothers, they reach a point where they have children or they may have a child at an early age. And what you find happening that usually that first child grows up without a father figure. Is then later on, a next man might come in, and with all the other complications, things can go right, things can go wrong. And what can go wrong would usually go wrong in the presence of a different father. And you find that by the time that mother that had a child at 16 or 15 or 17, by the time she's 30, she and her daughter is sometimes also dressing up in the same way, going to the same school, in the same party, doing the same kind of things. So we have a lot of issues coming out of that. But we also find that sometimes the environment, our environment, sometimes the kind of music that they are exposed to, the kind of pressure in terms of conforming or behaving in one particular way, force our children to act in a particular way. I remember growing up and then the norm was that, to be a man, you had to smoke cigarette at one time. And I was almost pressured to smoke cigarette. I tried to smoke a Phoenix once and that didn't go down well, and I said, to hell was that? So I done with that. But there was always this pressure to do that. And every generation has their own set of influencers that would make people want to do things in a particular way. So what we start seeing today, to me, coming out of this pandemic, people are actually stressed, and people feel stressed. And I don't know if we are addressing some of that, or if it's just the new era, the new term, where our young children, but in particular what I've been seeing, our young boys are lashing out, and it seems for no reason. Want to lash out in such a way with extreme, to kill. People are coming prepared with weapons, and they want to kill. There is nothing like where you could choke off, you could run, you could, but people coming almost with the intention to kill, as if that is the standard bearer of being a man. I mean, I know I'm saying a lot and I'm going wrong, but I find that the present society now seems like we don't have no direction. We're lacking this moral scruple where our adults seem no longer able to influence or to guide our youthful generation. And I don't know if because we divorce ourselves, that my child is my child, I am my own man now, I would make it on my own. I don't have to care about scholar child or scholar children. I don't know if that is the new norm that is permeating our society. So we take our hands off from the children that we all should be trying to mold and to maintain some level of standard behavior and everything. The school try their best, but as scholars say, usually the parent, but check where the parents come from and the history and the awareness, and the fact that are they able to hold the responsibility as a child, as a mother, are they able to shoulder the responsibility? And I believe that is one of the first major crack in our system, that a lot of our parents are not shouldering the responsibility.
Okay, guys. So let's take our first break. When we come back, I'll take some Facebook comments, and then I will add my two little piece. So stay with us, folks. We'll be back with you in just a moment.
The Nawasa app brings the power of Nawasa's customer service experience to you. Instant, conversational, and smart. Easy access anywhere. Get bill balance, transaction history for up to 6 months, report a fault, link to websites, view payment centers, contact information, push notifications, and multi-tenant accounts, all in a secure login platform. Like a self-service concierge app, mobile.nawasa.gd gets you the support you need much faster. Available on both Android and iOS platforms. Mobile.nawasa.gd, your customer support companion. Nawasa, committed to meeting customers' needs.
Your life is yours, your future's in your hands. Your body is yours, that's why you need a plan. You gotta plan your family, avoid HIV, get the from the Grenada Planned Parenthood Association.
We offer STI screening, gender-based violence counseling, prenatal and postnatal checks, injectables, condoms, pap smears, and other sexual reproductive services. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. The Pointy Street, St. George's. Whether male or female, it doesn't matter. We're here to make your life better.
Grenada Planned Parenthood Association.
For appointments, call 440-3341.
We support you at every stage of your life.
For business,
for your education,
for your financial freedom,
for that new ride.
Upgrade your life with the Communal. Contact us today.
You can now send a gift card to your loved ones locally or internationally thanks to the food fair. Here's how it works. Click the gift card icon or banner, customize your gift card by choosing from different templates, dollar amount, and personalized messages. You can also upload your personal design. Select Add to Cart and complete transaction. Allow relatives and friends to pick up an item or items at the food fair for the dollar value. Gift card. It's that easy.
A whole new level of convenience and comfort awaits you when you shop at Rise and Shine Supermarket and Hardware Supplies, Griffin Lane, Grenville. Convenient, because we are open Sunday to Sunday. We're even at your service on public holidays. Comfort, because we are easily accessible to the physically challenged. Free Wi-Fi is available while you shop, and bags come at no charge. Everyday low prices and excellent customer care. Adequate parking available. We supply everything you can possibly think of. Family and home supplies, fresh meat, vegetables, and personal care products. All brands of cooking gas at affordable prices. You can send in your order, have it pulled, or pick up express.
When you need your prescription filled or you require non-prescribed medication, supplements, or all your personal needs, visit Gittins Healthcare at locations on Wall Street, Grand Anse, Victoria Street, Grenville, and Central Deputy Street, Wharf. Gittins Healthcare aims to provide an exceptional personalized pharmacy experience. Additionally, children under 5 and adults 55 years and over will enjoy 10% discount on purchases of $20 and over on prescription medication. Stop settling for less. Visit Gittins Healthcare, where your health is our priority.
Kindly greasy pole, and we don't dance round the maypole.
Welcome back, everyone. So, guys, let me just take a couple of the comments on our Facebook page. So I'm going to skip the good nights. Good night, everyone. And of course, we're very happy to have you. So let's go down a bit. Right, someone is saying, my brother, I'm in total agreement with you. And that's, I guess, according to the scholar. That was referring to scholar's comments. Ingrid says, this young guy was very brave. Cynthia says, I was shocked to see the guy drop his bag. And as you said, square up the officer. I was lost for words. Ingrid says, me too. Money Williams says, good night, Mr. Godfrey and your two guests, watching and listening. The three of you had a delicious dinner, looking very energetic, smiling in between the program. Have a blessed weekend. Thank you. Corinne Noel is saying they have to know that. They think school making children. What else do them? Cynthia says, something they have to get training in the school, not home. Colin says, very good points, Livingston. Ingrid says the crowd was around him and he was just playing man that afternoon, nothing to do with COVID-19 and stress. Mone says, my comments are these young parents want to be their children's friend till they forget who is the adult. You have to bend the tree while it's young. Some parents are in competition with their kids. So that's the Facebook comments. I think we're experiencing some issues with our YouTube channel. Let's see if there's anything on the WhatsApp platform. Someone here says, I see with my own eyes and hear with my own ears parents who live close to me lie to their children and even physically support them in wrongdoing. Someone says the children fought over what we don't know, but a show of disrespect for the law. Meanwhile, Russia is fighting Ukraine, killing men, women, children, destroying the country. How do we justify this to our children? Someone else says, to be quite honest, I don't believe COVID-19 has anything to do with this blatant gross disrespect seen in the video. Young people have lost respect for those in authority, and that was clearly seen that day. Even if he wasn't in agreement with what was said to him, that was an incorrect response. I believe the police did the correct thing in this instance. Police are humans too. And to me, his reaction was very much in order. Children must know their place. Someone says, in the old days, Scholar is right. Parents have to take their responsibility seriously. The system must force them to do so. In days of old, the parents used to tell children, behave all yourself before make the police come for you. All right, so that's what's on the Facebook page and WhatsApp platform. Now, I agree with a couple of things Scholar said as it relates to people talking about this school and that school. But personally, I think it's just a matter of identification. Because a lot of times, some of the children, you know them from Adam. So you know it's Miss Mary's son, you know it's Miss Jane's son. So it's easier to say, that is a fella from that school or this school. But I don't pay much attention to that. I do agree that parents do have a role to play. You make your children, and you have to ensure that the behaviors that they display is in keeping with what is expected of them. I also agree that COVID doesn't have anything to do with it. The truth is, we have seen these things happening before. They have happened before. They will continue to happen. However, though, I think the alarm was raised, as Scholar said, when you have this young man squaring up a police officer. This is something unheard of. We don't know that. You were taught you have to respect the police. So seeing someone, a young guy in school uniform squaring up the police, I think that raised a lot of alarm, and this is why it is creating so much talk around. There's been a lot of other videos going around, but the one with the police seemed to be the one that is taking center stage, and this is why I believe that's the issue here. One of my concerns, though, about these fights is that when you see a number of boys or a number of children gang up on one person, because I saw that in a video, I think close to the cruise ship terminal, and when that young fella got away, I thought it was Doc. The guy, he ran, he really ran, and he took that corner there like Doc taking it 200 meters, and this is something, but fine, it might sound a little humorous, but if two fellas fighting, that is one thing. But when you have 4 and 5 guys, just beating one man, one other child, I have a serious problem with that. That video with the young man by the cruise ship terminal, the first guy who held him was cuffing him in his face. And 2 others came to join, and luckily the guy got away. I don't know what may have happened to him, but they were beating him, and that's a problem. I don't know, and personally, I do not believe it is something of significance or something so bad that one child could do so that 5 could gang him and give him such a beating. And this is my biggest concern. Children would always fight in school. That is something that would never stop. The Christians would agree that fights start from way back. Cain, kill Abel in the Garden of Eden. And you hide fights all through the ages. And it's going to continue. But when it takes a different angle, or when it goes to a different level, it is of concern. And I think the big issue here, one, parents need to pay more attention to what is happening with the children, and by extension, our communities need to play a more important role in what happens with children. I recall seeing a video on social media some time ago. It was in Jamaica, actually, where based on the video, I gathered that the men felt that little fella, the school fella, jumped the fence and get away from school, and they had him in a corner there, and he started to cry. He begged pardon. Sir, I didn't jump the fence. And they got him to go back in the school. You know, and when you have people in the community who can play roles like that, we may start seeing a difference in the behavior of children. So, Scholar, coming back to you.
Well, I mean, you speak some good words there. I mean, that just let me tell you that you're on mute. I didn't think you know that. Right. So, Godfrey, you're correct. Fighting in school is a normal thing. In fact, fighting in school, kick and cough and scratch and bite and so on, those things helped us with character and whatnot. Yeah, not weapon and those things, and it helped to toughen up children. Because what you have is a set of children from different backgrounds with different parenting, different outlook on life, different philosophy and whatnot. You bring them together and they have to coexist. Now, even brothers and sisters does fight.
Oh, yes.
Right? They does have disagreements. So children will have disagreements. And some disagreements will escalate into fighting. So that is no big thing. That is no new thing. And this is to be expected, especially in schools that are big and what have you. Right? And then children come out from whatever background. Some children doesn't even come to school hungry. And you know they say a hungry man is a hungry man. Yeah. So sometimes I try to make a joke with a chair, joke, but a man hungry, he lash out. Those things are to be expected. But we're not speaking about those normal things. Otherwise, we would not be having this program really speaking of that. Right? Now, when you look, if you could remember, because a lot of these things are really not new. There was a point in time in Grenada when we had an escalation of this gang thing. Mm-hmm. And some man wearing red, some man wearing blue, the other guy in a color. And
until you decide to walk naked.
Until I decide to walk naked. And you align children, young boys, young girls started aligning themselves to whatever color. Things are don't making sense really to adults like me and you. Because I ain't making sense. Yeah, I understand why a man like red, so you must fight it who like blue and all these kind of things. It don't make sense, but it's making sense to them. And there was this escalation of this gang thing. Kind of like what you're speaking about there with the young fella who turned the corner like that, running at 200 meters because a gang of fellas barred. Mm-hmm. And we see that again. I don't know if they are under any banner of red or blue or whatever they have, but we see it happening again. And we had this thing, I mean, this thing was predominant here until the Lego Beast and them squad, the police again. Mm-hmm. And it was Beast and his squad who was credited with curbing this thing and putting an end to all of this nonsense that was escalating, right? So we always know that by the police or authority, and I think this is where we have to look at it. It's authority that the kids do not have any respect for. It's authority. And I don't know if it is that parents just don't know, for example, that their children doing red thing or they doing blue thing. I always used to wonder if parents know this thing, or if these children and them just hiding, they meeting up in some bush somewhere, and then they put on the thing and go and make stupid. So parents shock when they, I don't know what this thing is, you know. But this one took me all by surprise. I must agree that I expected that, but when I saw the video for myself, I stand up there, sit down in shock. Because it was not just one police.
Yeah.
You know, the other fella at time, he say, at time he come out somewhere, and the man say, a school of dog by his bar. A school of police, you know. a whole school of police. And so it was not one police or two police. I see about 4 or much police.
Yeah, there was quite, but that.
Yeah, there was a lot of police. So I don't know, boy. I don't know. Well, and I agree with you that COVID has nothing to do with that. That is not a COVID issue.
That's been happening before COVID. It happened before COVID.
Yeah, that had nothing to do with COVID.
But you don't see an escalation. You don't see an escalation in the level of violence. You don't believe that people were suffering from serious trauma.
No, I think
because to trace a particular era or a particular situation for what is happening at almost what we see there with the guy and the police is an extreme situation. But there are a series of videos that are going around, particularly with our young boys, that are just really engaging in these violent kind of activities. And I personally believe that there could be an effect of COVID coming out of these 2 years of lockdown, doing online program and virtual learning, etc.
Hold on, that. Next thing that say COVID had causing Ukraine and Russia.
Well, that might say that just. But listen, hold on. A fella call on releasing the early. A fella they call Melvan. He call and say, how come soon as Russia invade Ukraine, COVID done? I'm telling dead with laugh because I don't understand. But Doc, I'll tell you this, the point that you're making about people being on lockdown, yes, people were on lockdown, and so because they were on lockdown, they couldn't get the fight because school was closed. You see, generally, let me tell you, generally, these kinds of fights, they don't happen like that on weekend, except if people go, they go in a fete or they go in some kind of big thing like that, you might find this kind of squabbles. But this kind of fights, they're school fights. So with COVID and everybody in lockdown, they ain't have time to fight. COVID, well, I don't know if COVID done, but they're back to school, and a lot of the things that goes with it is start happening again.
So listen, I mean, I don't think we have the expertise. So I'm just saying that possibility coming from this lockdown with all this stress and trauma, people react. So we neither here nor there. But I don't.
But what stress and trauma?
We didn't have that in COVID. You think it was a normal thing for you to stay home and you can't go out, or you're there under curfew? You think that was a normal? That was normal?
Yeah, but what was it? I don't understand the stress. There was a pandemic. You had to stay home or you get sick. Simple as that.
Well,
maybe. I mean, no. I mind you. I'm not saying that. Some people weren't affected, but I don't know that it was traumatic. I mean,
for some people, that's real. Well, anyway, we could leave that as it is. And there are a few points I wanted to make, and it come to one. I really wanted to. Yes, I said the police maybe used his open hand and he robbed the guy. But I believe to have 4 or 5 policemen there, and there was this level what I would consider to be restrained, because probably in the next society, that young man probably could have been shot. That is a possibility. And I believe the police show some restraint. I wish they had more skills to subdue the young man better, but I believe they also show some restraint. So I'll give the police some credit for that. Also,
they should have called for the fella. You didn't see the video in the car park down in Granada with Jet Li. One cough and the fella take grub, you know. You see, they don't understand. You have to get all this. Listen, we have a very good relationship with the People's Republic of China. I'm sure they could get some we police them to go in the Shaolin Temple and train to handle these fellas and them. Get Silver Fox Son and them to train our policemen.
Anyway,
hold on. Before you after you talk that sort, police battle again.
No, I don't see
police battle.
Don't let them train them.
No, I don't think they have business. I don't see they have that.
We need to engage our Chinese counterparts to assist in training our police in martial arts. So, like how the fella he got one cough and he take ground. Right. The police and them should be able to defend themselves, appropriately.
Yeah. So what our crediting the police. The second one, I don't believe we should, in a real society, our role is to sit down, analyze the young man, check his background, see where that's coming from, and try to see what we can do to prevent the next group or the next person from reacting or behaving like that. I think we could learn from that. If the Ministry of Education with psychologists and therapists and other social scientists can actually have the young man in such a way and use him as an understudy to see what actually triggered him and then see if we could address some of the underlying issues that we can identify maybe at an early stage so we can prevent those other things and them or other young men from behaving in that kind of way. That is the second point. The third point, I not that is going against what Carla said, but I believe that a lot of the parents need parenting. And so I believe the role of the school is like the superimposer of morality and of public standard. So the school, to me, is not that the school make the child, because it would be best. I mean, we know, all of us know, that a child coming out from the home where there's a lot of discipline and there's good parental guidance, that most likely that children from those homes would not behave like that. But I'm also saying that is not the reality of our society. The reality of our society is that maybe half or 60% of a lot of the children that are coming to the school has to be disciplined, have to be taught standards, have to be taught hygiene from the school. Right? That is our reality. And so the school has that responsibility to try to mold a child. Hopefully that the parents will get it. But I also believe that the school is like the superimposer of morals and standards, because a lot of the parents, hold on, Scala, a lot of the parents are not able to give that kind of guidance to their children. So I want to make that point. No, not that the school was responsible for the child behavior, but I'm saying that is the role that the school have to hold on to. And then the last point I want to make is about social engineering. There are a lot of things that are what you call societal distresses, things that would help, create less stress in those environments. And, recently we're talking about the preschool and about graduation, and we realized that a lot of the children, they go to school and they didn't get a chance to play, to burn their energy. So we need to think about some kind of social engineering that would allow children and school children more playtime, learning and playing, to help get rid of some of the pent-up anger and pent-up energies. I cannot prescribe an exact solution. I mean, at one time, when our society was extremely restless, they reused opening of sporting facilities, etc., in order to help curb some of those energies that were there pent up. Today, when you pass, you hardly see, you don't see a lot of games, you don't see a lot of children in the fields playing in the sporting arena. There are buildings, yes, but the buildings are locked up. There are playing fields, but it's not as utilized. So I just thought I would make those observations, and I realized I'm ready for my job back.
Yeah, you mean I'm ready for you? Because the truth is that it's exactly what schools do. That's what schools do.
Right.
Schools have never shunned their responsibility. So schools do that. However, it has to be reinforced. And that's where the problem is. Because if the schools just teach it and then they go home and is anything goes, then there's no sense. So there has to be reinforcement, and that's what schools that is what schools are about. But when schools do that, you know what happens? Parents, the same one who have to reinforce it, coming in the school to be principal and be teacher and be this and do all kind of thing. So there will be a breakdown. That's what schools do. But there's no reinforcement. And you talk about the social what?
Engineering.
Social engineering. But now let me tell you something. Schools that have to fight to get some children to play, and the same parents going and make doctor write out some paper to say them children can't do nothing, right? So by schools have all these things, because when you think about sports and play and so on, that's what schools are about. I mean, Godfrey last week or week before last week, he kicks in on thing because he says some children only play. They're going to play.
Yeah, they need to play.
Children, but there are avenues for play in school. That's the thing about school. Watch, I just listen.
Wait, before you go, let me ask you one question. Well, Scholar, you probably is in a better position to know that than me. I was supposed to research it, but I did not. If a child commits a crime, 12, 13-year-old, can you actually, can the police arrest the parents? Can the parents be blamed, take the blame? I mean, I'm talking about legally.
I don't know.
I don't know about blame, but they could be held responsible.
They could be held responsible.
Yeah.
I don't know if it happens.
But I don't know about here, but in the US there is one now where both parents were locked up because of some boy that.
I don't see that happening here, but I would suspect that. But coming back to my point about the sports, because let me tell you something. I just listen to all kind of man, and we come to sports at some point in time. I just listen to all kind of association. Cricket association, football association, all kind of association, taking credit when children excel, athletics thing. Schools, that's where sports take place, in school.
Agreed. Yeah.
Schools are the ones you see man posting about y'all football and this food. All these things are the goodwill of teachers.
Yeah.
Not teachers who know nothing about sports and things, and that's why you see it sometimes you have to carry teachers on your back. And this is where it starts from. So school has always created that avenue for social, you call it, I keep forgetting, engineering.
You could use anyone, I use engineering, but you could say anything. You could say.
Always had this thing, social engineering. I mean, we saw just before the lockdown, and just before COVID, there was the walk to rule, and children were not as engaged as it was. But now they are coming back to full glory, and schools have always had that. But once again, parents are standing in the way. You know how much children I know that when I was a teacher, that bringing all kind of thing from all kind of doctor, saying they have all kind of funny thing, but can't cross them, they can't exercise, they can't run and things. Not understanding that this is not good, right? You know, I always make the point. My son did a little stretch in England in our secondary school. And every day, they had 3 periods of games. Every day. Got 3 periods of games. the first thing you have to buy after you buy this school uniform is sports clothes. And you're buying sports clothes for winter, and you're buying sports clothes for summer. Yeah. And then you can't go without the sports clothes. That is the biggest punishment you get. But I mean, they don't understand this thing. So I agree with you that this social engineering could help. But boy, is the same parents standing in the way of the social engineering, Godfrey, out to cover it.
Yeah. So we're going to take the break. When we come back, we have some more Facebook comments, and then we continue. We're going to go to a telephone as well. Stay with us, folks. We'll be back with you in just a moment.
When a loved one passes on, we all need the comfort, support, and guidance of a trusted friend. You can rely on LaCour Brothers Funeral Home. We provide a personalized professional service that exceeds all expectations. Our dedicated staff responds to your every need with the greatest detail, ensuring affordability with a variety of options. Upgraded state-of-the-art facilities, spacious air-conditioned chapel with live internet streaming, a modern, environmentally safe crematorium, the only of its kind on island, private viewing spaces, large on-site repast center, a modern transportation fleet. Join our burial society today and make personalized arrangements for that final moment. As you prepare to enter your loved one into eternal rest, visit or call LaCour Brothers Funeral Home and select a package that brings added comfort to the entire family. LaCour Brothers Funeral Home and Burial Society, continuing a tradition of excellence.
If there was ever a time to keep and stay healthy, it's now! We at Hills and Valley are here to help you take deliberate steps to maintain your health. We stayed true to maintaining the most comprehensive rates while stocking the widest range of medicines and health devices, including personal protective equipment. There are so many benefits shopping with us. You get great savings through discounts for senior citizens and reward cards for loyal customers. Ask about owning yours today. Visit us at Halifax and Grenville Street, St. George, Jubilee Street opposite the Grenville Bus Terminal, and at Hillsborough, Carriacou. Our wholesale distribution on Halifax Street also stocks the widest range of pharmaceuticals. We are with you on the hills and in the valleys. We are Hills and Valley Pharmacy.
Have you heard about the new Soft Weave bathroom tissue with total hygiene? As hygiene and safety have taken center stage, our bathroom tissue is now manufactured with 3 different technologies to offer the best protection for you and your family. UVC light technology for a safe and effective disinfection process, eliminating 99.9% of microorganisms. Also, production at high temperatures, killing all types of germs and bacteria. And it's pH controlled with delicate fibers to prevent irritation for even sensitive skin. Soft Weave Total Hygiene Bathroom Tissue, available in supermarkets and shops island-wide. Visit Soft Weave Caribbean Facebook or Instagram pages for more information.
Here is a little known fact. There is only one place in Grenada that you can get an MRI scan done. That place is Spicile Imaging Center. Yes, Grenada, that's the truth. Other centers could offer you other scans, but Spicile Imaging provides an authentic MRI scan. Here's another little known fact. Spicile Imaging has 3 centers. We operate at Grenville, the Carnage, and at the Ocean House, Grand Anse. We provide the widest range of laboratory tests and services: CT scans, x-rays, mammograms, ultrasounds, and a host of other services. We are fully staffed by a team of family doctors and specialists. Call us today at 444-7679 or 406-1500 or visit any of our 3 locations. Spice and Imaging, from seeing the doctor to getting lab tests, scans, and pharmacy services. We are here to take care of you.
You can now send a gift card to your loved ones locally or internationally thanks to the food fair. Here's how it works. Click the gift card icon or banner, customize your gift card by choosing from different templates, dollar amount, and personalized messages. You can also upload your personal design. Select Add to Cart and complete transaction. Allow relatives and friends to pick up an item or items at the food fair for the dollar value. Gift card. It's that easy.
Kindly greasy pole, and we don't dance wrong the maypole.
Okay, welcome back. So let's take a few Facebook comments. Mary saying the overall responsibility is the parents. Nowadays, I think some parents need to attend parenting classes. Jackie says children must be children and parents be parents. COVID have no dealings to do with children's behavior these days. Maria says charity begins at home. When we are growing up, everyone had respect for each other. The kids now have no respect for their own parents because the parents have them as their friend. God help us all. Joan says, yes, Godfrey, I felt sorry for the young fella in the red t-shirt. Yeah, I like a duck. Fly around the corner. Cynthia says, came through a hole, did not jump the fence. Ingrid says, there was always fights, but not with knives and cutlasses. We fight with our hands, and who win next day, we all friends again. Jose says, I think there's a disconnect somewhere, and it's not the first time we have seen it in the past with police officers and our students. We can go back to a police woman and the school girl where the officer was injured and her uniform was ripped. I think Scholar was making reference to that earlier. Cynthia says nothing to do with COVID. Ingrid says some of the parents now, some of the parents know, but they cannot talk to their own kids. They will fight them. So they leave them alone to do their own thing. Jackie says, I don't agree with Doc. Please don't blame this sort of behavior on COVID. It was long in existence. Ingrid says, I think COVID went in Putin's head. That's why he's fighting Ukraine. But Doc, that was everyone. Veronica says, I think those people have mental problems. Bipolar, maybe. Cynthia says, but then, when they do that, we are still going to call out for police brutality. Doyle Brown says, yes, there are batons still existing. Sharon says, I agree, our policemen do need to learn self-defense classes. Doyle says, but there is a very fine line because certain actions may be termed police brutality. Jose says, people give respect to someone who is carrying a weapon in Grenada. Our police don't really like weapons. That the one thing I observe that the police in question was a youth as the student, so he feels he is a size as the police. I think it's a start to having the police visiting schools and addressing the rise in violence. Moni says, I was off and I watched that video 4 times, and that young man gambled with his life. If it was New York, he would be dead or in the hospital fighting for his life. Must be smoked something. Guess the teenager was wild. You could have not controlled him. He needs anger management classes. He's an angry teenager. I'm praying for him. Sonia Matlin says, there are young parents and young grandparents all under one roof, and single parents too. So they all need help. Cynthia says, from listening to the commissioner, I think they are putting things in place to further educate the nation. And Money says, liking the guest in that striped polo, he's talking the truth, he have me laughing. Doyle says, no, at that age, the child will be held accountable for the crime. Selwyn says, very good watching from Antigua and Barbuda. Jose says, one of our problems that contributes to issues like that is not having library for students to go to. So they will find themselves in group, sometimes doing all the wrong things, like smoking, hanging out, and some kind of alleys playing man and woman. Jared Kojo says, the same children who came with excuses from doctor are those who fighting up to walk and lose weight. Sorry, I apologize. Every evening they fighting to keep down weight, but instead getting fatter with every stride. Oh man, Cohen says, Kojo, the struggles are real. So that's the Facebook comments. On the WhatsApp platform, Godfrey, tonight program really hot. Wait, let me see. No, I think we. Right. Good evening, Godfrey. Until and unless we discipline our children, we should not obey a political leader who said we must make more. Kind of lost there. Someone says charity begins at home. Children react based on what they hear and see at home. In time past, children have to walk miles on 12 o'clock for lunch. Children nowadays too happy. Are we not producing the case that may be made against the youth by coming down so heavily on the side of the authority? I did not know the cause or causes, only saw the effect. Respect should be earned. Right, so that's it for the WhatsApp platform. So folks, our telephone line is open, and I think we can take a call or two now. Let's go to our telephone. We Culture, good evening. Open, and I think we can take a call. Caller, you need to turn the volume of your radio, your TV down, and listen to us on your telephone, okay? Turn the volume of your radio, your telephone. Okay, 435-2041, that's the number you can call. Call us, please. When you call, turn the volume of your radio down and listen to us on your telephone. If you keep your radio playing, you're going to bust my eardrums and we're going to get an effect and you will be confused because you will be hearing us delayed. All right, so let's get back to our telephone. We Culture, good evening.
Good afternoon, good night everybody.
Good night.
Good night to the principal, good night to the doctor. Hold on, radio too loud. Good night to the principal, good night. Wait. Yes, that better now. Me hand going the thing by mistake. Yes, doc and them. My grandfather what used to always say last day's condition. He said children will be beating this and children will be doing that. And you know, my grandfather mightn't see this thing come to pass, but I see this thing on them. People doing all kind of wrong thing, and when you go to parents, instead of parents correcting them children, they have all kind of thing to tell children, and they're sitting down in children present and talk. So when you sit down in children present and talk, children go back now and lash out on you. And let me tell you something. You have some teachers, they don't easy for themselves too, you know. They just run them out and people children so much. And like, you teaching the child get big, the child get a work. And instead of telling the child what she doing is good, you going on social media and you condemning the same child. You understand? What you teach, some of these teachers and them, they are too trained, they're behaving just as those children. You understand? And I want to tell the people outside there, I have a little police too. She don't come out, she don't ban in the police station, she ban at me. Because human being that make police. And I want to tell anybody, I just tell my police, act in the way she's supposed to act. Don't go and take advantage of nobody's children, because I teach them not to interfere with people, Because if you interfere with people, they're going to react on you. Deal with them as how you're supposed to deal with them. Because I don't have to tell nobody. Anybody hit my police, I hit them back. Have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The telephone number 435-2041. Scholar, you want to come in here?
No, I mean, I want that. Susan is here. But I don't know what this world coming to. The last time I see, I think there was a football game in Africa. And a man foul an ex-man. And the fella will get fouled, the girlfriend come on the field with a big stone. Knock down the man and foul him, you know. That's what Susan said, you know. Susan said, if anybody hits the police, she fighting, you know. I don't know. But Godfrey, one thing, police, and that's the funny thing. Police is something, I don't know. It's just societal, maybe it's cultural here. People don't have to know anything. They don't have to know the circumstance. They don't have to know the gist or nothing. Once a police is involved, police wrong already.
Yes.
I mean, sometimes I'm not sorry for police. I mean, I don't know if it's the name police or because police have unfortunate name because and least. I mean, that's a real bad thing. You have to call police different thing. But since police is involved, police wrong already. That is just a cultural thing with us. So they don't care. And a lot of people, even before they watch it, they start criticizing the police.
Yeah.
But I think this time, Scholar, people gave the police credit more than.
And I agree with that. And maybe you're right in some way because social media is so funny. I mean, that if you go on Facebook and you say Godfrey is a white man, somebody agreeing with you, you know, somebody say you're free. I mean, there's no for it control.
That's it.
The most contrary nonsense. So some people criticize the police in June, but you're correct. The majority. And another thing I realized, people in Grenada, and I think Jose was making that point about I don't know if you hear about weapon and what. But people in Grenada respect camouflage SSU more than police.
Well, you see there's a history with that, you know. That goes back to the revolutionary period. I mean, and I recall it was the revolution that disarmed the police officers. Remember the disarmed police officers? And I recall a situation clearly in Grenville where a Rastaman passing the station and smoking his weed, and when the police talk to him, the man tell him, he say, listen, that weed time now, and he had his arms. So all kind of people had gone, and you know, it gave them this sense of authority. And that's why a lot of times I try to don't talk too much about the revolution, because there are a lot of things that were left hanging and left our people with a false hope. And so since that time, people started seeing police because police officers were seen differently under the Gary era, you know. It was a different thing, you know. People respected police so much so that some people were afraid of the police during those times. And when the revolution came in, they disarmed police officers, and you have police walking down with a too long hand, and they can do nothing, and all kind of like a militia and have all kind of AK-47, all kind of wrong thing. You see this revolution? Let me start. Let me continue.
But I don't know if I concur with you. You and I go fight up with that. But what I'm betting is that if it was a SSU, that little boy don't do nothing.
No.
Nah, he ain't speaking up no SSU.
Scholar, there is a perception when someone has camouflage, they are better trained.
Yes.
You are soldier.
And so people would have more fear of attacking somebody. I mean, we know that some guys are in the police, they get transferred to RRU or SSU and vice versa. But once you have the green or the camouflage, you seem to be more feared, you look better trained, you look like you're so it is not easier. It's not easy for a young man to just want to take on somebody in a camouflage.
Yeah,
and the consequences could be more dire.
Because I tell you, Juku to me, I did a little video. I got a permission from the police during COVID time to put on camouflage clothes and so on. And I made like a camouflage mask. And I do my video in Southampton down. The people don't know it's me. And when people come in and I step in the road, my dear breaks. Yeah, breaks. But if fellas afraid me, I say, look at that. The camouflage clothes, you know.
Yeah. No, definitely, sir. Let's go back to the telephone. We culture. Good evening.
Godfrey, sorry for calling back, but I was a PRA too, you know. And I find you know press hard on this revolution thing. I was a PRA. Remember the time I did give you a story and release it about Moscow and Paul's Airport?
Yeah, I think so.
Moscow was a little engine room right by where the fire truck used to park up there. And soldiers had a big weed in their mouth, everybody there in camp, taking this person land, you planting thing. But I couldn't do that, I didn't have the power. I had my gun in my waist because I was a cook. So I might little 38 and thing in my waist, you know, playing kind of thing. But I never fight it. And this thing they call Moscow was a little thing. You have a man in the Cocoa, Mr. Clive, he was a preacher man. And he had the land by, well, the children living on the land up there again. And he had the land right on the airport up there. And you have people that tell him, Mr. Clive, don't go there. Watch you home. Because they take the land from him. And you know they take Mr. Clive's title. Mr. Clive had one put Mr. Clive in Moscow. Because Mr. Clive decided he don't give it up. And you know, Mr. Clive backward touching Moscow roof. Force it on. So the revolution, I enjoyed it. It was good and it was bad. But when I come down and bake in the bakery here to bring up in the camp, I make sure I might 38 in my waist. You understand? If I get one now, I could just sell it and make a fast money. But anyway, good night again.
All right. You understand, Finley? Yeah, that was one of the many.
Doctors want to talk about revolution, and Susan the better. Susan had gone in ways that never gone in ways.
But let me tell you. Listen, Scott, let me tell you about Doc. All this talk here, Doc was talking about the revolution. Doc was a counter. Yeah, Doc was a counter. So don't let Doc fool you with that. Doc was a counter. Everybody in Tivoli was counter. You know, Doc know that. Doc just playing. Listen, Doc just playing thing. Doc was a counter, and Doc, everybody know that. So Doc just trying to be, this kind of. Don't bother with Doc with this kind of trying to be politically correct. Doc was a big counter. Doc, look at me again. Doc be making it 3.5 up in Richmond. Anyway,
if you follow that conversation, we don't want to go, so I would not respond.
Yeah, of course, you better don't go there. Let's go back to the telephone. We culture, good evening.
Godfrey?
Yes?
A little take so long to address the talking. A lot of people want to make...
Well, instead of wasting time and telling us that, make your point now.
Godfrey must do better than that. Stop that. Everybody wants to make a talk too. Listen, it was in days of the big police and them, in days of Healy and Pastor Rice and them. This thing could not happen, you know. You see what do those things and them with those young people these days now? When people calling them kids and children. So they don't know who name to accept, which name to answer to. Now, the thing about it is with these young people and them are behaving bad so. The parents and them just talk to those children and them too raw, a lot of bad word, according to where you live in, you knowing what's going on. And the children, yes, they need correction. It's quite true. But some of those mothers and them does really cause bad word to them too. Understand that? And again, some of the fathers and them is not in the house. And if they have the father again, those young father and them, they're worrying up those women and them because according to where you live in, you knowing. I don't mean you, Godfrey, but me and other people. They don't have respect for those children. So those children and them go in and show it in the school. Godfrey, I don't remember the year. You remember he had a boy who had a fight with that teacher in GBSS school and he break his hand? And children was backing it up in the class? He did something wrong and the teacher was telling him, stop talking. I remember that well on the radio. and he shoved up his hand in the teacher's face right in GBS school in St. George's, and others backing up in the class. He hit the teacher. He fight with the teacher and he break the teacher hand as a man teacher. Ask anybody in the school, in GBS school, if that didn't happen. And they expel him from the school. Children does a lot of wrong thing, and you see this, they calling them kids and children after, and kids and children. Stop calling children kids. Kids is little goat. A lot of people have called children kids. That is not the name. The name is a boy or girl. Them is children. And a lot of us parents have to deal with those things and them, because we just curse, we just quarrel. And some of those fathers and them don't have respect. Those young fathers and them, I just hear them.
Thank you. Thank you very much, caller. Thanks a lot. Yes. All right. 435-2041. That's the number you can call, and you can make your contribution to the program. Let's go back to our telephone. We culture. Good evening. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Good evening, caller.
Yeah. Good night. Good night. Now, my little input here is that, okay, listen. The first teacher is the first parent is the okay, the first what I want to say, right? The first teacher, the first school is the home.
The first teacher is the parent.
Yeah, the first teacher is the parent, and the first school is the home, right? And this is what we have. This is what is first and foremost. I mean, just imagine. As the caller just say, a student fight with a teacher, break the teacher hand, and you're going to just expel that student from the school, and that is all you do? That's all you do? That's all to it? Listen, Chief, what you mean? Something is just not adding up. This student is supposed to get a good cut backside, right? And maybe send somewhere to work. So some way. And this student is supposed to be taught a severe lesson. I mean, you fight with a teacher, break a teacher, and you're going to just expel that student from school, and that is all to it. Listen, somebody is making jokes somewhere. Somebody making jokes. Somebody is not serious about something. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed, caller. Guys, you remember there was another video earlier where two young men they were beating a mentally challenged individual, and again mention was made that they were from a particular school. They didn't say the name of the school, but the school was mentioned. And that kind of behavior, something is, as according to the host, there's a disconnect somewhere, because you start wondering, well, what would lead two young boys to do that to someone who is mentally challenged, and these things are worrying, and the fact that, as soon as these things happen, they once they are at school age, it is quick to mention the school, and this is something, I agree with Scholar quite a lot, and a lot of times you don't hear any mention being made of parents and so on and so forth, but it's very serious, and I think we're at a point where we need to start finding solutions for these things. We need to be finding solutions.
Godfrey, there is a school of thought among some people that these things have been happening before, with the same kind of regularity and intensity, but there was no social media. I don't know what school of thought that is. I beg to differ.
Well,
they said there was no social media put in, and in a way it's correct. There was no social media, but I don't think that some of these things they
I think this is I believe that is era driven. Meaning there are times when youths would rise up a little bit more than other times. And it has a lot to do with sometimes external conditioning. If there is usually a vision, when they say, let us even go back to the revolution era. While the revolution unleashed a level of violence on the general population, but because there was a vision of the government as to the way they want to do things, this infighting between villagers and infighting between school children, etc., was at an all-time low. So crime rate during the revolution was at an all-time low. I mean, in terms of the citizens, because there was a one track. When there sometimes have movements that emerge, trending, and that again is a reflection. Like right now, even if you go back to the days of when reggae music came on the scene, that was trending. Now the music that we are hearing is a reflection of maybe the chaos or the emptiness, the moral decay that we are feeling in society. And we may see it as simple, but the music that you hear affect us in a very, very large way. Let us also take into consideration the effect we have with social media and how it is easy to be downloading and to listening to some of the nonsensical, in my mind, some of the nonsensical music that is being played all day, that some of our youths have been bombarded with on a regular basis. I mean, just take just take a short experiment. You go to a party and it is conscious reggae music or conscious or good calypso. Scholars are calypsonian, and you can almost count on one hand, how many fights you would see in a calypso show. When some of those ragamuffins and some of those music come and you go to a party of that nature, you most likely would find some flair, some incidents of violence taking place, because the music affects us in that kind of way. So now, so that happens. That happens. So that is the era we're in right now, where there seems to be a lack of vision, not just for Green Leader in terms of how we progress forward, but even within the region. And that's affecting general society, like which direction, where are we going, what is happening?
No, yes, Doc, I do agree with you there. But Scholar, I also believe that not just social media, but the age of information. When you look back, we didn't have, but some of us didn't even have a telephone in the house to make a call. Some of us didn't even have a radio. We would go by the neighbor to listen to radio. And so I believe those things happened. It happened. I mean, look, I could go back to Tivoli. I remember, and Doc, I don't know if you remember, but there was a time in Tivoli when you used to have fights regular. Fellas like Kavan and Jail Again, and I mean those guys, you had the SPACs and the facts and they had a lot of fights. But Scholar, I'm sure you never hear about the SPACs or the facts.
Oh. No, I never heard about the SPACs and the facts.
Man, that was big fight. Some of these guys have died now, But the point is, the age of information has brought with it a lot. So things go out a lot. So you hear about things. And I think this is what makes the difference. That's why we think there's an escalation. And mind you, yes, I believe some of these things have escalated, because even with the same social media and the telephone and all of that, they have their role to play in all of these activities as well, So yes, I believe there's an escalation, but I also feel that it happened before.
I also believe that there were more peacemakers before. When I say that, I mean people who sort of tried to come between when there were confrontation and so on. And even when fighting, you heard about Pat. You hardly hear about Pat fight nowadays.
No, they're jumping up and they're jumping up and they're videoing.
The first thing man do, they reach for the cell phone and you see everybody light on and everybody start to video, right? So it's a different era now. It's like they set in the fight, they took in the fight. They want the fight to take place because they want to go live.
They want to post something,
so that people could see. So the first reaction is to reach for cell phone.
Yeah,
not to try to de-escalate or do anything.
And we didn't have these things before. So let's go back to our telephone again. We Culture, good evening. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good evening.
I'm the Culture. This is Godfrey, no? Hello?
Yes, could you turn down your radio, please?
Well, I have no radio.
All right, the number is 435-2041. That's the number you can call. People, please, turn the volume of your radio or your TV down and listen to us on your telephone. All right, when you're calling, please do that first. Listen to us on your phone, turn down your TV or your radio, and listen on your telephone. Let's go back to our line. We Culture, good evening. On your radio and listen on your telephone. Let's go back to our line. We Culture, good evening. On your radio and listen on your telephone. Let's go back to our line. We Culture, good evening. Good evening, caller.
Hello, Godfrey.
Yes, good evening.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Godfrey, my thing is, what about providing some sort of a positive outlet for the young people to release and to relieve themselves of the pent-up anger and energy that's being caused by the lockdown, as they say. You know? Some sort of exercise, like sporting exercise, music, even teaching them karate, even having them go to the school garden and work, you know what I mean, and release this energy that the children have. Now, I remember that lady there, Miss Claudia Joseph, where she said, I think she has some degree in karate. And she says that she really, really is interested in starting a karate school. But she's not getting the license to start the karate school. You know, Godfrey, if she has a class of about 10 boys or 10 girls or whatever it is, and these children find in learning karate, find a way of releasing all the energies and so that they have in them. You know how many fights she could be saving in this country? I mean, we have the opportunity. We have the opportunity, Godfrey, to stop, to do something positive, to relieve or to ease up the amount of violence in our country. Violence is not the answer. Fighting is not the answer. It need not be the answer. There are other activities that the children could engage themselves in. This is my point here.
Thank you, caller. Thank you very much indeed. 435-2041. That's the number you can call, and you can definitely make your contribution. Let me just go back to the Facebook comments. We have quite a few that came in. So Jose says, we all seen the video, so I think we should be discussing solutions. We see a child crying out for help and maybe why he's lashing out in that manner. So I think he should be physiologically or psychologically evaluated by professional, and I think the child services should get involved, because I saw he has to be grateful, for being alive. He says, Susan with gun, you see what madness already? Joan says, good night, Gwenny. Well, yeah. Hannah says, good night, we culture. Carl Thompson, borders on being uncivilized. Jose says, Godfrey was not the PRA, but it was in Gary days also, was not much different. Where is Reece tonight? Well, she's unable to make it tonight. This guy liked to talk long and always lost me along the way. Cynthia says, well, my granddaughter called me one morning after looking at a bottle of vitamin. She was about 6 or 7. She said, Granny, you can give this to goats. It says for kids. Right. Hannah says, clearly, we can see that there is a breakdown in society, so let us see how we can assist them. Most parents are young without much experience as the way how to bring up a child, because they themselves didn't get the opportunity to grow and become adults themselves. Right, I never would have thought they were still in school. They looked like adults. It was very sad to see. Mental or not, that beating was something else. I think that there should be after-school activities, and that's Hannah, where skills can be enhanced and grievance can be heard. We might be surprised with what the young people are going through. Sonia says, oh yes, indeed, music have a big part to play in some of today's lifestyle. And Jose said in the revolution, there was always something to keep the children occupied, either in group meetings or activities like competitions among themselves. So there wasn't any time for confrontation because it had to be any maneuver. I just add that. Right. So Jose, I just add that for you. You forget that part. Sonia said, during the times of the revolution, there was hardly any roadside drinking of alcohol. Yeah, they were afraid of the militia. Yulin said, these people, you have to keep telling them the same thing over and over. Turn the device down. Well, Anna says, where are the community centers? Hardly any youth groups to be associated with. Jose says, we're in the month of March, the time where sports normally dominate the schools with the competitions in every price. I think we have to bring back the intercall. Yeah, Doc will like that. What's up? Good night to all. That was just total disrespect because he was a young child in school uniform. He had no right to slap the police in the face, and the student was wrong. He did it first. Good night, everyone. Interesting topic. We need to bring back God in school and allow the teacher more freedom in correcting children. Ministry of Education needs to stop allowing parents the freedom of attacking teachers. Parents have no respect for teachers. In my days in school, our parents showed more cooperation. The parent-teacher relationship was more positive. Yeah, when you're in military, you're a soldier. Therefore, the rules of engagement are different. Someone says children needs help. All right. So, yeah, that's about it here on the WhatsApp platform. 435-204, that's the number. Scholar, you want to come back in with anything here? You're muted still.
No, let me take a quick call.
All right, so we have a call on the line. We Culture, good evening.
Hello.
Yes, good evening.
No instrument is being played now, eh? Okay. Now, Doc, they said there is something we are being called HUD now, and it's difficult to train HUD. Because with this pandemic, they talk about herd immunity, so we might become herds. Anyhow, let's not go into that. Now, I look at this. Both parties supposed to be trained. As for example, if you have policemen, they should be trained as to how to quell a rat and how to govern themselves. Know when to fight, know when to attack somebody, and so on and so on. I'm not saying, I cannot say, because I'm not making any point. I'm making an observation. I do not know who right or who is wrong, because wrong and right is determined by the society. So according to the society, the boy could be right. According to the society, the police could be right. But what I feel should happen, each of them should subdue themselves. The police men and women should be trained to give them some experience in psychology. Psychology is not only to possible know the health of somebody and this and that. It would involve knowing how to act and how to react. So I don't have no evidence on. I'm not in a position to say if the boy is right or wrong, because right and wrong is determined by the society. If we in a place where we are fighting, the person is right. This is what it is. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, caller, for your contribution. The number 435-2041, and you can get to make your contribution. Let's go back to the telephone. We culture. Good evening. Hello.
Hello. Good evening, sir.
Yes. Good evening.
Yes, sir. You know, this kind of thing has been happening throughout time. Police attack somebody, or minor child police. It is because of all these smartphones, everybody's recording and posting to Facebook, posting to the internet. We all reacting to that kind of stuff. But let's let the police handle the situation, investigate, and let them do their work. We don't need to have all these people saying, do this, do that. They will do what they need to do, and they will take care of the situation. Thank you very much. So have a good evening.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you very much. 435-2041. That's the number you can call, and definitely you get to make your contribution. We culture. Good evening.
Hello, Godfrey.
Yes. Good evening.
Good night. Match 13 Sunday, and you have to come match 13. That will be a nice program. Yeah, come Sunday.
That's your contribution, caller?
Yeah, man. Match 13 Sunday.
Everybody know that?
That's your contribution, caller? Yeah, man. Match 13 Sunday. Everybody know that? That's your contribution, caller?
435-2041, that's the number you can call, and you can make your contribution. Yes, March 13th is it Sunday? Right. Yeah, March 13th is Sunday. We're celebrating Carriacou. We're lighting up Blaster Jess. What we have again, Doc?
This is a serious thing, eh?
Yes, it is a serious thing. There's celebration. We spoke of it earlier.
How are we doing, Godfrey?
Hey?
What do you say we doing?
I saw something for the lighting up, the commission of the lighting of Las Vegas playing field. That happening as part of a celebration. There's another one. There's for Carriacou. There's for all over. There's a lot of celebration. You're not following the social media trends, Doc.
No, I didn't see that. That's celebration for what, March 13th?
Yes, March 13th celebration. You need to be up to date, man. Follow the news.
Well, let me tell you this. I realize there is and we're going to go to sports next, so maybe just setting the scene.
Mm-hmm.
I realize there is a movement going on to light up, put light, in a lot of places.
Mm-hmm.
Light. And my thinking is that we don't need all that, because when you look at all this thing we're discussing, and you don't have a lot of light already. You don't have light already. People are light.
We are gonna light.
They're just wasting light.
Let's take our final call. Let's take our final call for this evening. We culture. Good evening.
Let's take our final call. Let's take our final call for this evening. We culture. Good evening.
Good evening, Godfrey. How are you?
Good evening. Could you turn the volume of your radio or your TV down, please, caller?
It's very low.
Turn it down and listen to us on your telephone.
Yeah, bring it down to 2.
I am hearing you in the background. It's busting my eardrum. Turn the radio down, turn down the volume, and listen to me on your telephone. Whatever you have playing, turn it down and listen to me on your telephone. Okay, go ahead with your contribution.
Yeah, good night. Scholar, good night. I enjoy your program tonight, and I compliment it very much. I must teach Mr. Livingston to wait to listen to you and speak after you. Secondly, I need my Sarah cake tonight. I look out for cake and I get no cake tonight. Livingston eat all?
The result for me?
Cake. I need some tonight. You eat all?
Yeah.
Cake making weekend, so next week.
Next week I'm going to get? Is sure on that?
Yeah, cake baking weekend. Over the weekend.
Over the weekend?
Yes.
Okay, I want a slice, please.
No problem.
And a slice of watermelon.
Okay, caller. Thank you. Have a good night and enjoy the weekend.
Okay.
All the best.
Okay, caller?
Yes, indeed. All right. So let me just take the last set of Facebook comments and then we would wrap for this evening. All right. Jose said scholar. That caller was a school teacher in the past. Ashley Vincent is saying children these days too happy and they need proper training. The last show that was held in Foxing was like a damn kiddies carnival. More underage kids than adults. Seems like children these days don't know their place. And Doc, please don't blame the behavior of these children on COVID because that's not. All right, so don't blame the behavior on COVID. Right, Jose says, do they have counselors in school? Because sometimes children want someone. They want someone to talk to because you never know what may be going on in the house. So I think it's something the Ministry of Education should consider. Maria says, my goodness, what happened to these people? They can't understand instructions. Jose, tomorrow Doc will be the launching of Tevin Andrew office campaign in Carriacou and PM. Doc, are you going up? Yeah, someone wants to know if you're going up to in Carriacou for the for Tevin launch or whatever senior. All right, so that's all the Facebook comments. Do we have any final one on yes, the children will be glad to release most of the tension. Right, and that's what I like. Plenty of exercise is needed. Cultural, like concerts, dancing. Get the children out to the school grounds, and they will be too tired to fight. All right. Good night, Godfrey. Prophecy is fulfilling. Okay, so that's our WhatsApp comments. So guys, our final comments, Doc.
Yeah, let me start. People seem to get impressed I'm saying that because of COVID, you have children fighting, but we all agree that this thing was taking place way before COVID. But I was just questioning whether the escalation we are seeing now could be maybe influenced by. I wasn't saying it is the sole cause of. So one of the two things I got for you. One, I also want to say that I think with all that, the young people probably are also crying out. And we probably should not, or society should not just condemn them, the young people, but let us see a way how we could address some of the concerns, etc. So I think looking for a result and how we could then use the problem that was created in the first place. How can we address that? And what can we do to try to prevent it? I think is very important. Godfrey, if you permit me, I would like to end with a very short poem. We were not able to touch on that, and it had to do with March 13th. Just want to play a short tribute poem I wrote some years ago. So here it goes. March 13th, 1979. So the wind stood still and the bell never sung. Screeching tires, slamming doors, and explosion piercing the stillness. Naked bodies, shots waving as flags, hard black muddy feet, scratching, pounding, crushing the earth. Mad with rage, direction unknown but running. That was March 13th, 1979 revolution. Woodlal, Caldwell, Mucho Nada, armed with guns, dirty and shot. Rusty, greasy, sticking bullets, but armed. cutlass and stones had their role. But bravery, courage, their own manhood in quest. No blood must flow, but bullets must fire. That was March 13, 1979 revolution. So anger suppressed, no sacrifice made. The old bureaucrats trod uneasily. Private became public, new guards guarding the property. One man got shot, bullets went off accidentally. That was March 13, 1979 revolution. Seize your looting is the socialist order. Work for the unemployed, home for the homeless, land for the landless. Let those who labor hold the rein. Forward ever, backward never. That was March 13, 1979 revolution. And with the greed and lust, with the hate and scorn, and boom, he executed the revolutionary man. And that was the end of March 13, 1979 revolution. Obviously, I missalted 2 or 3 was deliberately.
You gotta tell me.
I just wanted to.
You gotta tell me just play the thing for you, man.
And if you're going to do that,
well, I'm gonna play the thing. I'll always play the thing. Finley.
Right.
Yeah, what am with that old counter? So
you understand? Listen, he miss in jail by He miss in jail by
Don't try that. We had the thing on record here. Just say play the thing.
Yeah, just say play the thing, and I just drop the thing.
This counter thing. Anyway, Godfrey, in answer to Jose before posting, he spoke about the idea of counselors. There are counselors in our schools. So counseling is not an issue. In fact, one of the things I think that counseling has done really is to cause teachers to now look to counselors, because that's their responsibility to counsel children. When in truth and in fact, teachers are counselors. Teachers have been counseling children from time immemorial. I mean, that's one thing that is in a teacher's job description informally, to counsel and to speak and so on to teachers. But because they have put counselors in schools now, teachers are quick to say, go to the counselor when you have issues, whether it's right, whether it's wrong. But that's how it is. But teachers did most of. So they're making the point just to say that there has always been counseling taking place in schools. All right. I think we've touched on a very trending topic in our series of as we continue with the education system. It is something that we will continue to grapple with, and we'll have to continue to strive to find solutions. Leaders would have to lead, as is the case may be, and schools, parents, Ministry of Education, everybody would have to work closer together. I mean, we saw in the pandemic how schools and homes, it was the first time that schools and homes worked so well together.
Yeah.
It was unavoidable, right? And what we're looking for is for that same kind of energy to continue when the children are not home and not dependent on the virtual and so on, that parents would have an integral say and play an integral part in the children's education, in the discipline and so on. And ministry, and because you always have this thing where sometimes the parents come, they cause the teacher out, parents will think, and the first thing they will do, they're going to the ministry.
Mm-hmm.
And when they go to the ministry give them all kind of footing and so on. And that deflates schools in their efforts to. So it's a conundrum of things that we need to fix. And Doc, I mean, for all that, put his finger on a lot of things tonight. I mean, the music is something else.
Yep.
and no one can do that. I mean, I saw firsthand. We had a fair at time, and music was playing nice little thing, and everybody nice and so on. And then, boy, from out and nowhere, the DJ started to play some kind of violent kind of thing, and they chop out a man hand. They do it, and we saw that coming. You saw it. It was like as more and more of the music thing, like the man had the cutlass side. I mean, it's one chop, but side, you saw the hand coming out as the music escalated. Yeah. So music is an important part of the whole thing. And finally, I want to say, boy, that we're all in this thing together. Whether it be police, whether it be civilians, whether it be parents, whether it be the thing. And I think we have gone probably so far overboard now that the main thing that could solve this, I mean, is gone, that a community raises a child. If we could have gone back to it, we're not having this thing, right? This is the watchword, but it's gone now. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, we have to do whatever we can do to keep these young people in line and not play the blame game, everybody blaming this and blaming that, but understand that we have to work together. Otherwise, this thing will just continue. This thing will just continue.
Well said. I agree with you guys. It's troubling. And with all of that, I was really troubled by some of these videos when I saw them, and I keep thinking, what if it was my son that, you have 5 guys ganging on, and a lot of these questions come to mind. Then you're thinking, this young guy who's been, ganged upon, what is in his mind? Is he thinking revenge? Is he thinking... And all of these things to me must be taken into consideration because it is a very serious issue, and I believe sometimes this is why it could be one of the reasons why we're seeing now so many weapons in school. People, probably the children feel, well, they have to protect themselves. If I'm ganged upon, then what do I do? And it is a very, very worrying situation. So, yes, we need to find a solution. We need to find a solution because, yes, it is happening, but it's never too late to start to address it in a very serious way because we have generations to come, so we need to address it. Scholar, I remembered... as a little fella, on evenings before I went to bed at night, my mom would sit me down and read to me. I learned to read, by that. And sometimes I wonder whether these things still happen, whether parents or some parents now, take the time to even if it's half an hour to spend with your child or your children, read together with them, help them to do a math problem. Maybe some parents, they may not be able to understand all of it, but if you work with your child might be able to guide you along the way, and together, because that presence, your presence as a parent with your child means a lot. It goes a long way. Even if you might not be able to help the child with what they're doing, but I think the child knowing that you're there with them and giving them that kind of moral support can do a lot. So there are a lot of little things we can do. I believe a lot of things we can touch on that can, possibly help, this whole situation that we're facing now. Because we just cannot continue that way. I wonder, and someone said that we should bring back Intercall. What role does sports have to play in all of that? Scholar made the point earlier that some parents, they go by doctor and get all kind of paper to say the children can't play. Well, let me tell you something. I do believe sports can play a significant role. Significant role. That rivalry that we're seeing, it can be displayed on the track or on the field. I remember the days when me and Doc and them used to be running. We in different houses and all of that, and I couldn't beat Doc in the 100 and 200, but when we got on the field, it was a different story. You know, it was a completely different story. So a lot of these things, we need to pay attention to. And I know schools, they work hard, they do a lot. Teachers do work hard, they do a lot. And I do believe that with a little more support from parents and from the community, we'll be on the right track. Guys, thank you so very much again. Maybe
one thing I just want to say, Godfrey, it is really heartening to you after 30 years you admit. That is so nice.
That what?
About the field.
About the field?
About the 100 and the 400. You want
Yeah, but you wouldn't admit that I defeated you by almost 5 feet in triple jump to set the record. Don't go there. Let's do that for next week. And Scholar, when he was about to make his last jump, I wanted to tell him, I say, that's what you're doing wrong. And then when he jumped, he come up a little more. But I was too far ahead. Thank you guys very much. Thank you for your calls, your contribution to our Facebook fans. Thank you so very much. Next week, let's see how sports can help in, maybe curbing all of that. I think it will be a good one. Thank you then, and do have a good night. Enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Kindly greasy pole, and we don't dance on the maypole. Raise it high up the ladder, let we set it on fire. Give me some fire. A little more calypso, forget the funk and the